Hi everyone, I'm Nikki and I'm going to be discussing the Green Mile and applying it with emotional intelligence theory. And the reason I chose the Green Mile is because I believe that Stephen King really encompassed the idea of focusing on one's own emotion and controlling it through their own intelligence and applying it to tough situations. And so first I want to go over what emotional intelligence theory actually is. And Daniel Goleman in Emotional Intelligence in 2006 described it as the ability to identify, assess, and control one's own emotions and the emotions of other and that of groups. And John D. Mayer, Peter Salovey, and David R. Caruso coined the term in the 1960s, the actual term of emotional intelligence, and it was used in a literary criticism and psychiatry. The concept of emotional intelligence stems from the relationship between emotion and cognition. John D. Mayer wrote in the University of New Hampshire's Scholars Repository in 2004 that there were 4 branches that EI could be split into. So branch 1 would be the perception of emotion and the understanding to recognize others' emotion through facial and bodily expression. Branch 2 is emotion assisting the notion of thinking. Branch 3 is understanding and analyzing emotion and understanding the outcome of one's emotion. And branch 4 would be the management of emotion, which encompasses one's whole personality. So emotional intelligence really shows that you understand what ways you can assist another human through both verbal and nonverbal cues and applying it to tough situations that may trigger such responses. So for the Green Mile, I want to discuss the scene where brutal Paul and Harry break John Coffey out of prison to go and heal the warden's wife, because when they show up to the house, the warden throws a shotgun in John's face and he's completely calm. He shoves the shotgun away and he emits this very positive energy, and it causes everyone else to also calm down. And so he applied emotional intelligence very well in that scene. Next, in what not to do, Percy attacks the mouse, Mr. Jingles, on the Green Mile during a lunch break and throws his baton at him, and it causes the entire mile to start screaming. The other 2 officers start screaming. Brutal and Paul end up running in, and Paul ends up scolding Percy for causing such a ruckus and such a reaction from everybody, because it is their job to remain emotionally stable so that others around them stay emotionally stable. Stephen King uses Edward Delacroix as a way to get the audience to feel sorry for someone who is on the mile, who did a terrible crime. And even though his crime is not described in the film, Delacroix deserves to be on the mile, and it's actually a really touching thing to see an audience member have to control themselves and control their own emotion. And through that way of gauging an audience member's intelligence, the way Stephen King portrays Paul Edgecombe's inner turmoil over executing John Coffey, though he knows he is innocent, is a way to gauge John's own emotion and understand that he has to do his job regardless of what his emotions tell him to do. So through these scenes I discussed, it is important to remember that emotional intelligence is an understanding of how to communicate with others on an intellectual level that we are all capable of, because we are all human beings. And by controlling a positive atmosphere like John did, or creating chaos and havoc as Percy did, EI makes or breaks the relationship between 2 people, and it can really show how we've evolved. Thank you for listening.